So you just wrapped up
I have, yeah, I'm just kind of beating the last deficiencies out of the
Okay, so Margaret, you're going to start?
To start with, I think I'm here under false pretenses a bit because I didn't actually have to hire a planner. I was elected after the first team council and they had everything in place to start with, so I've benefited from their wisdom and their choice of planner. The choice of planner really matters because the type of city, the planner decides to a large degree what kind of city. Planning is important because the design of cities decides to some degree the kind of people that live there. I always used to say, if Paris didn't have the boulevards, would Paris have a fashion industry? If you didn't have the boulevards we see in BC, and Paris got a fashion industry, New York got a garment industry. Is that because the cities were different? One of the things that a director of planning is going to need to know is what makes cities, how planning affects the kind of city, how cities work. Lots of planners are good at how cities look, but how they work is to me very important. And in selecting a new planner, the council is going to have to choose a person who fits their ideas, and hopefully they have been able to express what those ideas are to the public, so the public knows what they're likely to be getting. And it's the job of the council to inform the public and bring them along if necessary. And if they don't bother to do that, there's going to be a lot of unhappiness and turmoil. And the mayor has to provide the leadership. It's rare that a council member has much interest or even knowledge of planning. Not everybody is a Walter Hardwick who did have. But in any case, the mayor has to provide the leadership. And it has to be a partnership with the new director of planning. I think that's very important. And the mayor and council have to articulate what it is they're trying to do. They have to make sure people understand, and it involves change from what people are used to. That takes quite a lot of time and really serious consultation, because people don't change their ideas very readily, and it's not true that they don't change their ideas at all. And a lot of people just say, oh, it's NIMBY, so that we won't pay any attention. But people are entitled to know what's going on. And the director of planning, of course, has to put that kind of change into context so that it's understandable, so it's actually workable, and so it does what is intended and not something different. A lot of it takes a lot of negotiation and public consultation. I think that's very important. And particularly, I do not think that having an open house with a fancy bunch of nice posters does the job. It takes longer than that. And I think it's very important that council and that the planning department and the director of planning work together and do their own job. It's not up to the council members to do the planning, and it's not up to the director of planning to do the politics, which sometimes happens. So you have to be fairly clear in what it is you're trying to do and how you're trying to do it. There are a lot of duties that the director of planning will have to have. I think nobody has mentioned metro planning recently, but that's a very important element, because if almost always when the region has been affected, there's been leadership from Vancouver. So both the mayor and the planning department have to be involved. Otherwise, we're going to get an awful lot of sprawl, which affects Vancouver without Vancouver being able to do anything about it. And to accomplish any of the planning objectives, it's up to council to have the proper legislative framework in place to do, so that the planning department can do what they need to do. And the director of planning will have to have some, I guess you could say, autonomy. And along those lines, I dug up a quote from Art Phillips' original inaugural address in 1973, and he says, "Department heads should be given more independence, and they should in turn assign more responsibility and authority to staff members throughout the civil service. I would like to see a general relaxation throughout the city staff where individual employees will feel freer to make judgments, offer suggestions, and bring about changes to the operations of City Hall." That's spoken by a man with confidence, because not all politicians will feel that way. And I think that's great. So if I were to hire the new director of planning, I would look for someone who is well-trained and has experience with the city, who is a good communicator, a good administrator to administrate his or her own department, good at public participation, understands planning principles well and can communicate them to the public and to council, and to do a little education of council members, which is usually needed. In other words, not be able to walk on water, but look as though he could.
Wonderful, thank you.